Hey everyone, welcome back to episode 2, Ecosystem Invites. I can't believe we're starting again, David. Starting again. How are you, David? What's happening?
All is well. Ecosystem insights, Fez. Having a look at the news, having a look at what's been happening in the Icon ecosystem. Good old times, I suppose, but faster, isn't it?
That's right. That's right. I think in that moment when I was doing the intro, David, I had a flashback that we're on episode 142 of Iron Icon. So
Yeah,
when I said episode 2, it kind of the two's connected. And anyway, look,
yeah.
great, much quicker, faster version. Let's dive in. It's been a busy fortnight, more than a
Yep.
fortnight. Yep, yep.
Bit over 17 days, I'd say.
Yeah.
But who's counting?
Exactly. So what we're going to do, run through the news we have seen floating about, and I'm also going to use this time just to actually highlight, if you're listening to this and you're doing something on Icon and you're thinking, oh, I had some news and it wasn't covered. Well, I'll tell you what, reach out to us, start feeding us that news, get that information to us. If it's something major, you want to get out there to the wider ecosystem and you're doing stuff that is on Icon or does something for Icon, we can only source what we can find, get it to us so that we can make some noise about it. That's what this whole ecosystem insight's about. It's not preferential treatment. It is just about getting the news out there to everyone who wants to listen. Right, David?
It is, and bit of transparency. The main source is the Icon Discord bulletin board, which aggregates Twitter posts from ecosystem projects. So if your project is putting out Twitter posts, but it's not getting aggregated, head into Discord and have a chat with John and Arosh to get yourself whitelisted there, because that helps as well. We look beyond that, but that's the starting point, the Icon bulletin in the Icon Discord.
Yeah. Good, good. Okay, let's dive in. First thing, we introduced this in the last episode. Beautiful work by Stakey and Co. creating a page where you can go and register a DAO. What did we want to zone in on? Equality
It
or
was
craft?
actually Craft
Craft.
in this case, seeing as Craft has just put up another vote, actually another one. It's called CIP1, so that kind of indicates that it's the first Craft improvement proposal. But what it says is they want to enable multi-currency payments. And this is interesting because it is a step towards multi-chain NFTs. You need multi-currency payments because if you're going to purchase NFTs or link them from different blockchains or purchase them on different blockchains, then you need to enable that feature. So Craft and interoperability working together towards that ideal use case that Craft originally pitched, the interoperable NFT marketplace. And this is an important step. So if you hold Craft token, you can vote here. And if you scroll down, you can actually see 100% voting. Yeah.
I mean, who wouldn't? Like, you get paid. So basically, they're even calling out, they pay a 1% fee at the moment when swapping it into ICX, and it becomes more efficient to move the rewards, especially when it goes multi-chain, into BNUSD. That's what it's about, right? And it's also about enabling multiple reward types, right? So it's not just ICX. Pretty good. This is the kind of stuff you want happening. It's the right direction.
Actually, yeah, equality as well. News there. Is that the next tweet that you're going to open up?
That is, yes.
Right. So equality is the stablecoin exchange coming to Icon, and they are currently on testnet, and they have this incentivized system through Crew 3, which is the platform that we've kind of come to know as a gamified community system where you can get XP for your contributions. And if you contribute to the equality testnet, then you can get XP on their Crew 3. Don't know where that leads, though. I don't know if if at the end of the day you're top 5 and they go like, yeah, you're top 5, thanks, bye. Yeah. Or if there is a reward on actual equality, which is sort of when the actual platform comes to mainnet, there might be rewards there for you then if you've hit the charts in their Crew 3. Have you done it, Fez?
No, I haven't. I mean, there's so many Crew 3s now going around, man. I'm struggling. It's great because if you're a diehard fan of a particular ecosystem, project, etc., you can really get involved and Crew3 is a great way to track. But you know what I've realized, David? I'm a little bit of a wanderer. I wander, I explore all different things. And I started my wandering journey and started all these Crew3 quests, and I realized what's going on here. I'm spending time trying to level up. But so this has been a bit of my takeaway. But I realize not everyone's, jumping on every different chain trying to lose money. So
Fez is a rolling stone.
That's right.
But
that's right.
This seems to be not necessarily an easy one, but instead of having to do 35 things for 10 XP each, this one is, participating on equality testnet, leaving feedback, and then you get a big batch of 350 XP. So it seems like a no-brainer if you have the extra 10, 20 minutes in your day, because, you never know at what the reward is in the end. So it's fun to have a look as well.
David, have you ever played a game where you got rewarded EXP and felt it was a bad thing?
EXP or XP?
Yeah, XP, EXP, experience points.
No, I do like leveling up, so
That's right.
not
Exactly.
really.
Exactly. You don't. It's nothing but good news. So get in there. Okay. Oh, I feel like I have opened the wrong page here, but oh yes, here we go. Next up. This came out 4 hours ago. It's literally fresh off the press.
It's so hot. Yeah, Hana version 2.8 is being rolled out with full Hava official support, including NFTs, which is important because Hava is an interoperable NFT blockchain built with the Icon SDK. But that's good news for people like me who use Hana Wallet for everything. And I've been looking at Hava. I've actually participated in their testnet. Had to get the Hava wallet, another one of those browser extensions that clogs up the top right of your screen. So I'm really happy that I can actually use
You
Hana
mean
for
one
this
of these?
Oh my goodness. You've got Hava wallet right there.
Oh, yeah. I got Chat GPT extensions. You name it, I've got it. You want an
Nice.
extension? I got it hidden in there.
Comes with the territory.
Look, great news. Great to see Hana going and supporting everything Icon's doing, and obviously has.
On that, you can actually go to the page below and become a beta tester of their mobile wallet. So that's also ongoing.
Wait, so this is the mobile wallet that's going to replace the My Icon wallet on. Yeah. Oh yeah. You want to beta test that, people?
Yeah,
I have actually. Yes, I have it installed. Yes, I am beta testing it, David. Sorry.
Any feedback?
No, not yet.
Okay, can be a good thing, but at the end of the day, they want feedback.
Yes, so don't beta test it like me. Beta test it the right way. Actually,
test provide it harder.
Feedback. Yes, test it harder. Oh, here you go. Suggested tasks. No, I hadn't explored this page. This is quite interesting. Let's get this bigger so everyone can see. Okay, so they've given you a list of things to do, and you give feedback, and it really helped the team. So get involved. Get a early preview of the wallet. Probably you can see they're clearly saying the audit has not been finalized. So either testnet. Actually, they're recommending testnet. So yeah, set it up as a testnet and become a testnet. Wow, it's one of those great accomplishments. Okay. Next up, David. Oh, crud, I think I passed it. Do you want to give an update here? What do we got?
We're looking at the an update from Parrot9's Lisa on the balanced, what we'll call it, update. They're updating the marketing site and stat page, as the title rightfully suggests. So this is not the app where you're actually doing your trading or borrowing stablecoin, but the business card, the front website. I think it had a lot of information that by now had dated. It had the rebalancing on there explained, but rebalancing is kind of deprecated. It's
gone.
Out of the window. It's now a redemption mechanism, which is then in turn going to be explained. There's been multiple collateral types added for BNUSD loans, so that's going to go on there. So altogether, it's getting an update in terms of the information that people seek when they find balanced or explore balanced. And this is an update, so it's not ready, but it's showing where they're going. It's quite interesting to go through these images. Kind of shows you, the steps that need to be taken to make pages like this understandable, not frightening, to make them responsive for different screen types and all that. So definitely interesting post.
So why, if you're wondering, why are they posting it, David? The reason they're posting it is because in this case, they actually went and requested funding from the DAO. And because they secured funding and they're now upgrading and doing all that work, they're providing the DAO with an update on the progress, because it is a DAO, right? And we voted yes, so we should be getting updates. So great work by the team. Obviously, they addressed that they've been busy, tied down a little bit with the Ohm incident, Ohm hack. So great for them to call it out, and great to get an update in general around this. Balanced overall, David. Like, everyone knows I wasn't the biggest fan of rebalancing. The fact that that's pretty much out of the equation now, it's starting to look like quite the appealing DApp. And once we start going cross-chain, this should be able to onboard some users. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Balanced is the flagship DApp in the Icon ecosystem, I'd like to think.
Yep. I say so. Yep, I agree. So, okay, next up, look, I was scrolling through and this tweet popped up. Again, it was posted 4 hours ago. If you don't know what this collection is, so one of our community members who's right into NFTs, he essentially minted, and if memory corrects me, I recall this being AI generated. He said it right from day dot. This is a set of AI generated NFT collection of 100. He gave them all away just to community members. And this was, I recall, it was really when things were bad in the market sentiment, all these blow-ups that happened, everyone was feeling that bit of doom and gloom, and he comes along and does this cool little project and lifts everyone's spirits. People got these free NFTs, and essentially now all of them are gone, distributed, or there may be a few left, I don't know, but now what he then did was, any of the resales that actually happen on Craft, based on what people trade it for, the royalties, 50% of them, he will pick every week a holder and distribute the ICX. Again, the whole point of it is just for engagement and a bit of fun. And he's really following through. Who was it? I can't remember who actually set it up. It was...
is it Tesla?
Yes, it was Tesla, the alien. Yes, so great work by him. Love that, how much work he's doing in the background and how passionate he is for the NFT collections. Anything to add, David?
No, I don't have one, so I'll get my hands on one because I want to be on that wheel.
Oh, don't worry. We secured one as Iron Icon. Oh.
What's our number?
I'll have to look. It's just mentioning it hurt me. Okay, so next up, 16-Bit Fight Club. Full disclosure, I do. I'm involved in the project, so I'm a bit biased.
Disclosure: it has your name slapped across the entire banner.
So this is the thing. Hello Chocobo said he did all this work. It is my birthday in a couple of days, so he then went and created this entire event, and there's going to be like a whole batch of tournaments. Actually, between the 9th and the 15th, there'll be all these tournaments played to secure minting rights, etc. So if you're not already, jump in the Discord. You can see he's had a lot of fun when creating this. And this is not just any tournament. So there's going to be a ton of loot. You can see this is swag. If you've paid attention to some of the videos we've been doing, I often use the coffee mug that I got gifted, but secretly it was to use in my videos. Jumpers, hats, you name it. And there's a little Mortal Kombat toasty. Do you recall that when you did the uppercut? The guy came in the screen. Yeah. There's a whole lot of retro throwback in here. But yeah, jump in there if you want to. This is a big NFT roll-up section we're trying to cover to make sure everyone's getting, we're just getting across the ecosystem, and very much so NFTs are, what am I trying to say? Really covering all of Icon. Like, at the moment.
big category.
That's right.
It gets people engaged, I suppose. This is
Mm.
Gangstaverse. We know Gangstaverse is working on a game, so it's more GameFi.
Yeah.
But currently, they've announced that the game will have loot crates scattered across, or you can win them or battle and win. But now they're doing this 1 month. Is it a tournament?
Yeah. So
Where
you
you
have to
create?
register, David. Did you know this? Did you know you had to register?
No,
I didn't
no.
either. I just saw it. Register, David,
Okay,
right now.
well, the deadline is 2 days ago, so
No.
that's going to be
Oh,
very
come
tough.
on.
But that
Oh,
wasn't the news. The news is that it's happening.
yes.
And yeah,
Oh,
and then if we hop to the next one, so this is
yeah. This is the
community
article.
event
Oh,
towards, yeah,
as in framed or
yeah, framed.
yeah, I just quickly with this gangster wars. So they're introducing weapons, and so there's these loot drops that David mentioned, and part of that is a whole bunch of new items, which I assume are going to be NFTs, and you take part and you're going to get dropped these, and they probably tie into the gangster wars verse in some way. But this is cool. They keep implementing new additional features before the
Yeah.
launch of the actual game, which is great to see.
You know what? I don't think they're gonna be NFTs
No?
necessarily. So I
Oh,
don't think the
weapons. IRC 31 tokens.
well, that looks like it. But I remember reading a bit about how the gamified elements might not always be, on chain NFT, but your characters are, and possibly there your weapons would be. But I don't know, maybe if you get like a hat or a sweater or whatever, not every single pixel will be an NFT on the blockchain is kind of my
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. No. Cool.
But this is another event working towards the launch. Framed is still dropping these every Monday. They reveal a card from their trading card game. Yeah, and the point that I was going to make is that I feel like I've been seeing Gangstaverse, launch tournaments and events for the past couple of months now. I'm seeing Thania drop cards every Monday for the past, I don't know, 20 weeks. And I'm waiting for the stuff to launch. And
It's
I
gonna
feel
happen.
like I feel like I have community engagement fatigue. I'm seeing these posts and I'm not even reading them anymore. I'm just like, yeah, okay. I know what that is. I'm waiting for the launch, but I don't know. It's just it feels like it's dragging on a bit. Like I want something tangible, something that I can click and play. Let me in.
David,
Yeah.
Exhibit A. You literally and me completely skimmed past this post. The second post was a registration form, and you know what? Now we're not registered, David.
No, I'm not registered to play.
Finally, the event you've been waiting for is happening, but we missed the registration process.
But it's like whining. I'm whining because
Yes.
building these things, like I know how much effort and time, and thought and just resources go into this. So there's no point whining either.
Yeah.
But it's on the other side, like, because we do the news and we do it bi-weekly and sometimes there's even longer in between. But when we aggregate the news, I recognize we're reporting the same posts.
Yeah.
8 weeks later, and I start to think like, man, I wish I could just play this game.
I know. It's at least look. You got to look at the plus side, keeping the community updated. And you know what, David? We can speak from experience. Like, let's talk about Blobble for a second. Oh
Yeah.
God, he was warned not to mention. No, but okay, we know Blobble. Like you and me have gotten very active in shaping it, how it's evolving, and what have we realized? It actually does take time. Like,
oh my goodness, it does. Yeah, yeah, it does. It does.
So it's evolving, and as it's evolving, a few things that you didn't think of in the early stages have come to light. And poor Paul. Now it's we warn him when we start these meetings, but full respect to the teams. Like the fact that they are constantly giving updates to the community is great, and we get it because you can fall into a hole when you're trying to build.
I might be the only one, right? and I just happen to sit here with a microphone voicing it, I might be the only one. So who
No.
knows?
No,
You too?
because if you recall a couple of tweets back, I also missed this, David. It's not just
Yeah.
you. I'm not rubbing it in. I'm not, I'm sorry, man. Okay, well, the
Sorry.
truth is I registered. I just didn't tell you, David.
No way.
No, I'm kidding. Okay.
Hilarious.
It's hurting me a lot right now. I'm gonna have to.
Yeah. I'm excited. I think that at the end of the day, like, I'm excited for these things to launch and to be playable and to interact with them on chain, and to dive into these tokenomic schemes or these gamified elements that have now been blogged about a gazillion times, that we've gamed about a gazillion times. I'm just excited for it.
What have you heard about Blubble? Have you got some alpha?
I've heard some whispers, but I wasn't too sure if I was hearing it correctly, Fez.
Yeah, look, you know what? I wish it just came to Icon. But anyway, let's keep moving. Okay. So that's kind of the ecosystem news. Oh, actually, David, one thing I didn't we didn't cover, but I just saw a tweet and I've just remembered in the NFT ecosystem was Peel guys. Hopefully, yeah, there we go. Just wanted quickly, I saw this great tweet. This was one of the OG NFTs that came out, and it sold out. He did a ton for the community, and then went quiet just for a tiny bit, and he came back later, explained where he'd been, and he did this quick introduction thread, and I really loved it. It was giving a bit of context onto what Peel Guys is about, when it was founded, how it worked. And remember, in the early days, there was a whole heap of stuff, and Peel Guys came along and they had like really cheap minting rates, and it just sold out, and you can never find it for 10 ICX now. But then they started another collection, Gone Bad, and you can see there's a lot of collaboration. So if you haven't already, take a look, find his handle and take a look at this tweet. I thought it was a great intro into what they're doing. And finally, his call out was, everything they do with the collection and evolve it is up to the community to actually signal a yes, it should go down this direction, etc. So yeah, I forgot to add this to the pile.
Nice.
Okay, next up. So what now we want to do, obviously, with me and David now, we're just highlighting the ecosystem news, and we want to then also talk about some of the things we are doing at the foundation. Rather than doing separate episodes, we thought we'll just tack these on with the ecosystem insights, because these are insights. So we see the development update has dropped for February. So I'm going to tackle the dev updates, and David then is going to talk about comms and marketing and some of the stuff he's also doing. So from a development perspective, BTP and the IBC integration. So you can see the dev updates taken a new format, and the whole thing evolved with a lot of feedback from everyone in the team. We launched the milestone board so that everyone can kind of see very clearly what is happening with BTP and what is left to get done. Obviously, this is very much a simplified look at it and kind of a streamlining of tasks so that it makes sense. Well, I hope it does. Feedback, if you want to see changes or anything, please feed them through Discord, or as John, even tag me. That's great. Happy to take on as much feedback as possible. But the goal of the milestones was, obviously, we kept getting these updates, but if you don't actually have kind of everything there pre-compiled, you don't know where in the stage these updates are relating to. It all sounds like just work is happening. So the dev update has changed its formats where it's referencing the cards, so you can constantly see what work is happening on which cards. Occasionally, new cards may get added in the milestones depending on if issues get identified, requires additional testing, just to help highlight that this has created a bit of extra work. And so with BTP, things are good. You can see we're at the final stages where the instances where this is just running on the local machines between chains and connecting through them, they've been testing and everything has been working. They're finding bugs here or there, and by there I mean Parramatta, and they're patching them. But again, because it's local instances, they can patch them, deploy, and keep testing. But they're reaching that phase now where they're getting ready to deploy on testnet. Now, What they're going to do, though, is first actually deploy, not on Berlin, because that's our first testnet and Icon. They're going to actually spin up a brand new testnet and deploy it to that and connect that testnet to the Binance Smart Chain testnet and run their own internal testing. So while we're close, this testing period, there will be phases. So that will happen. Then it'll go to Berlin. Then we'll run the same amount of testing. It'll also allow applications and things like that to deploy in Berlin and actually use the infrastructure connected to see what happens. And later on next week, we actually interview Cyrus, and he'll talk a little bit around ideas that already have kicked off, not ideas, actual work to ensure that testing on testnet is worth everyone's time, and we get a lot of buy-in from community, from builders and things like that. So there's a lot of work happening there. But coming back to it, this is where BTP is up to. At the moment, from the dev update, you can tell that Binance Smart Chain is definitely tracking a little further ahead, and that's mainly because the team had faced a little bit of challenges, which they called out around the APIs. The APIs they needed to tap into for ETH, for EP2, they around around the proofs they require from ETH, they weren't finalized yet. So this kind of stalled the process. But the team actually didn't just sit around waiting. They actually wrote their own APIs to fetch the information they need to, and they're utilizing that at the moment. So they've commenced the work. But you can see at the moment, like, it's just slightly behind, but let's see how that comes along in the next month. But the point of focus at the moment is private testnet, the new testnet deployed, and Parramatta are going to connect that testnet to the external chains, so Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain testnets, and run their own testing, private lockdown testing. What I'm trying to say is their controlled environment testing, so that they can identify any issues as part of all the components basically running in a live chain. So it's getting there, David. It's getting there. I keep highlighting this because this is not, I don't want people to think this is 1 week, 2 weeks and we're there. No, testing is testing. It takes time. And if there are any issues identified, it goes back, patch, and the tests get rerun. So we're at that latter stage, just a bit more patience, but yeah, we're in a good position.
Yeah. Now I feel bad. Now I feel bad for talking about the community events that keep coming on and on and on, because this is what it is, you know.
Yeah,
it takes time. But this is BTP 2.0.
Yes,
that's at this phase.
Yeah.
And this, so this is the full BTP with all the xCall, the generic messaging functionalities and use cases that are
exactly. And this is, again, so it's like not like last time where BTP was done and then other teams were building the integrations, which is what happened. There was, you know, the integrations team was building, and then they pivoted, and then Icon Bridge was born. In this case, this is actual BTP proof of concept that has been done for BTP 2.0. Everything worked. And then Parramatta actually building out the chain integrations, which is Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain. And so, which has been great, because now, as they've been identifying in the build stage, and this is probably why things have taken time, because it's not all mapped out. It's not built. They're not taking the code from somewhere and going, yep, this is done. Let's now change a few things and copy it or recode it in the way we need it in Java. No, they actually have created it's a homegrown solution, right? Like that's what BTP is. So they're building it, and through these stages now, integrating and patching any bugs they come across, and it just keeps going until it gets deployed. So I hope that has helped. It's helped me. Like honestly, that's been my big takeaways and my personal experience being involved. Is I have asked such questions. I've gotten in there after my first meeting. Then I started actually probing and asking and trying to get a few more insights as to what's transpiring, which has been really good.
Well, is the can you scroll up?
Yeah.
All the way up. So the whole part 1, that's all done. Architecture, design.
Yeah. So this would have referenced. So if you remember early on, David, like when BTP we decided not to go to mainnet because of the gas fees, Scott put out this big tweet about, working with Icon Loop, etc., and all the engineers coming together. Like, that was the early. So at the start, they didn't just start, coding away, let's fix this. No, it was like, okay, well, let's go back to the drawing board. This is what we're trying to achieve. What are some of the other solutions out there at the moment? Let's research. Has there been innovations? Have they resolved some of the issues? And one of the big call outs is like this particular issue with the light client. The light client has not, and I don't justify, my explanation isn't justifiable here compared to what Cyrus could say, but one of the biggest challenges and difficult components is the light client being written as a smart contract and deployed on chain. And then obviously the information it holds. Like for IBC, for example, the particular light clients, they all have light clients. That's how IBC's light clients capture the information sent from chain to chain, but they don't actually, they're not on chain. It's a separate piece of infrastructure that operates and then registers information. So in Icon's build, this particular piece is known to be quite challenging. So part of that was a ton of research and development, which is there. This is where this designing the BTP 2.0 blocks comes in. And what's funny about this particular piece, they spent a lot of time researching and developed a solution, and it's right now on Berlin. It just hasn't been activated. But the IBC, so the next team that we have, so we've got Parramatta building out the BTP integrations piece, and I've got another couple of teams that I'm working with now, and we're building out the new, as you know, with the strategy update, the IBC implementation. So where we're taking the already existing IBC and building out the contracts in Java, etc., that need to sit on Icon side, the relays, the light clients that need to get built for the components, as you can see. And the final piece that I was going to call is the part of that build is we will actually utilize this BTP block solution that takes care of the information we need to store of when the messages are passed and those other chains blocks have that information. Like, this is the solution that keeps that data and makes sure that the gas doesn't exponentially rise. We'll use IBC, we'll integrate that solution into it, so it's great that we've resolved this via this solution, and now we can start implementing light clients as smart contracts across various other interoperable solutions, but utilize the BTP blocks infrastructure that's put there. So I get excited because when I'm in there, some of the boxes are getting ticked. It's like, okay, this is making sense. I still couldn't relay it in a technical level if you start saying what this contract does to this, but at a higher level, I can tell you all the pieces and how they're connecting, and at the same time, what the core challenges have been of particular pieces. So anyway, so now we have, rounding it off, IBC integrations. There's a board out there. You can see all the planning stages are mostly done, and we're full flight at the moment into the build process. And generally, as I said, we're copying, there's something existing, and we're taking that and recreating it. But there are a few unknowns, like I explained with the light client. There are teams in IBC at the moment building this component as smart contracts, but haven't finished it yet. So there's a bit of knowledge we can share and pull on, and a great way to network amongst communities, which is great. So there will be a few challenging pieces, but not like BTP where it was essentially the manual was getting written as we were working through how it would actually work. So no timelines.
Interesting to hear that these teams within Icon are working on stuff that teams in IBC are also working on, because that shows the relevance of the tech. And it's not just marketing, not just networking that these teams can communicate with each other, but the fact that they know what they are up to, that they're talking, is good, because it means that Icon will come up in conversation as hey, they're doing this as well, they're doing this. Because I'm seeing to date, I think 2022 has been the year of interoperability and bridges and everything, right? Like, that's been a big narrative that popped up. and all these new shiny VC funded operations have come in and have started building tech from another angle, from their own philosophy or angle or position, and they all get put into lists, like they're doing this, they're doing that, they're doing that, but Icon isn't in those lists.
No.
Like you don't often see it pop up saying they're doing this and that.
Yeah.
But now that this is so relevant, I would hope to see that happen, right? That eventually it's like, oh, but you do know that these guys are building this xCall service, which maintains light clients at smart contract level, which is cutting edge.
You won't believe it, but those kind of conversations, like, they don't get publicized, but they are happening. Like that's how the teams. It's like with anything. If IBC came out and said, oh, they're integrating, BTP in one of the chains, etc., they would be in the background talking to Icon or dev relations, and dev relations like Cyrus and Eric would actively be helping. Like, you'd never hear these conversations in public because not everything needs to be fanfare. But what I'm trying to get at is it's the same both ways. So when you approach a team and you're trying to adopt their tech, in general, very receptive. How can we help? What support do you need? What are you trying to do? Here's the problems we faced. How have you fixed this, etc., etc.? So it's been good to see that side of the conversation happen. I think as a community member, if I were to step back, I recall, I used to think, well, why, like Binance, if you remember when we were integrating Binance Smart Chain, I remember saying, well, why aren't they saying anything? Hello, we're integrating them. But I think it's just a different level of people. And what I mean by that is, like, the devs are there. They're just building. They're doing their thing. They're not interested in, hey, everyone, we're doing this. They're just trying to get work, do their work and figure it out. And it's almost like they're passionate about it in a different way. I don't know how to give more context to it, but yeah, stuff happens in the background. It's just everything isn't. Crypto's a lot of fanfare, I've noticed. Everyone getting When Moon, this, that. In the background, the builders aren't really. That's not their objective.
Different world.
Yeah.
The xCall strategy, as explained in the that big strategy announcement at the beginning of the year, that opens the doors for these kind of collaborations, conversations, and subsequent networking. And the marketing that might follow from that, because before it was all BTP, and now it's basically two horses in the race, right? So there's BTP happening, like you just explained, and then on the other side, there's this putting xCall on IBC, that integration that's happening in parallel. So I think that's really good, and it shows now two milestone boards, one for BTC and one for the IBC integrations.
Yep, and with this one, it's a little bit different than BTP. You can actually click on it, and it'll give you a little bit more granular under this particular topic. And I think some of these, if I click, you can already see components have been finished. And while the repos at the moment, David, are private, soon we will have them public so everyone can see. So it's more the setup phase, and we're early on in the sprints and just trying to get a few things followed.
And if they're public, they can be tracked by those Twitter accounts that say, oh, look, this much commits have been done. So all the commits and all the work right now is not being tracked because it's private, but as soon as it goes public, you end up in those lists where they say, good work, Icon, you did 20,000 commits.
120,000 commits. I mean, okay, good. I think that's now over to you, David. What's your world been?
Well, so for the past 2 weeks, talking about commits, we've been last episode of the Ecosystem Insights, we alluded to the icon.community website and how it's supposed to be this open source, aggregator of community content where users can identify stuff that they want to see changed or stuff that they want to change themselves and flag it kind of through GitHub. And since then, we've just set up this page that is icon.community/contribute that kind of invites users and explains to users how you can actually contribute to this website. Real quick, if you hit that work on an open issue link, yeah, that'll you were right there. Yeah. That'll send you to GitHub, and that is a place where you can find basically requests that we'd like to see added to the website. So in this case, it's learn articles. So maybe people can contribute their knowledge to the website in the form of adding learn articles. And if you would go to the learn article pages, you can actually see which community members have been contributing their knowledge to the website. So that's interesting stuff. But then there's stuff under the hood. We all know icon is such a generic name, right? So it's very hard to hit Google search results. If people search for icon, they're going to get icons. They're going to get get websites that offer free icons and this and that. So that's but by implementing a Google search functionality into the website, you kind of and you add some extra data to your web pages, you enable your website to be indexed slightly differently by Google, and you get a bit more favorable presentation in search results. So that's just another one of those things that either a community member who knows about this, who does this maybe for a living and sees that, hey, the icon website could use this, that would make them better. They could actually contribute this by going to icon.community/contribute, and change up stuff, put in a pull request, it comes through, it looks good, it makes sense, it's well explained, bang, pulled in, implemented, the website now has this. So that's just anyone can contribute, and this is an example of that by putting a page in here where you can actually search the icon website with Google. Now, when people search for icon, and it won't happen all the time, but it is now possible that if people search for icon on Google, that they might get, the icon page with the search bar, like search this website for whatever you're looking for. So just slightly those little things can help. Icons on Google News publications now, so you might find it in your Discover pages. So recently, like I think yesterday, the development update dropped. So if you have an Android phone and you use Google News, it suggests stuff based on your preferences. So if you're kind of like a crypto person, you might get see icon development updates pop up in your Discover pages and that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, anyone can contribute, but I understand that not everyone's gonna come in and contribute. I had never done this before either, but it's actually really rewarding, and you learn a lot because you go in and see, how does this work, what can I do, and it's front end development. It's not the heavy back end stuff that you're having your eyes on with these on-chain integrations of technology and whatnot. But this has been something that we've like a little funnel or structure that we had to set up, because this prior to 2-3 weeks ago, this didn't exist. And then I'm mostly talking about the icon.community/contribute. And then now it's important that the list of what kind of contributions are we after kind of gets expanded on, so that more suggestions are done. You can actually have a look at the Click ecosystem. See, a lot of the traffic on the icon website goes straight to the ecosystem page. They go have a look, so knowing that, we kind of revamped it a bit to just shove xCall and BTP in everyone's faces.
You can add your project.
If you're a project in the icon ecosystem and you're not in the overview, you can add your project, and it will come through, and then it can get added to the website. You can also do it directly through a pull request, which is just that direct contributing. And on websites and all that, there's been an interesting thing happening. So this is the ecosystem page, and there was actually a forum post done by a user called WeMuse that said, hey, I recognize that ecosystem page could use some love, and what I'd like to talk about is me giving it that love, but not just adding a banner and two terms and, and a sentence, but actually giving it like an entire treatment, giving it live data, this and that. So that suggestion was made, and people responded to that, saying that's a great idea. Maybe if you would pivot slightly, it would be much more beneficial this way or that way. And at the end of it, actually, it's Elise from Icon Marketing who came in and said, hey, we're working on reworking the icon.community website. And I think that's a piece of fresh alpha right there. I think Robbie from Protocol 7 did a tweet the other day where he lined up the CPS website, which is icon.community, I don't know if it was the tracker, and then the actual website, and they're not the same. Like, they don't have the same branding scheme because it's different teams that have been working on these different things. So at the end of the day, they use the same logo, some of the same colors, but maybe not even the same font. So it's just the general branding feel isn't there. But this confirms that the team has absolutely taken note and is in conversation or in the process of reworking that and getting that organized and sorted. So I think that is fresh alpha in the Icon forum. So if you haven't been there for a while, log in.
And that's some of the conversations you're also actively part of, isn't it, David? So
yeah. In this particular case, a bit more on the side, but I knew that this was ongoing, but hadn't been shared. And then when I saw this post, I was like, oh, nice. Now we can go on Ecosystem Insights and let everyone know, because this is on the public forum. That's ongoing as well. So anyone looking at like these websites and thinking, all the information and content is there, it just doesn't look 2023. That is being worked on across the board. So I think that's important as well for new users who lay eyes on Icon, who might have been chatting with an IBC dev who said, hey, did you know that Icon's actually building this? Oh, let me check it out. They go to Google. They managed to find the website through all the Icon packs, and then they get a nice branded across the board experience. I think that's important. So that's being worked on.
Cool. No, that's great. Great overview and summary, David. Thank you. So I think this is it, everyone. I hope you're enjoying these ecosystem insights and you are getting some insights from this. As always, again, not financial advice. None of that changes. We're two guys that are working in the ecosystem and still feel it completely necessary to make sure that information is flowing out to our community and doing what we can to get that information out there. I called it out earlier and I'll call it out again. If you feel you're doing stuff on Icon and you're not getting coverage, we don't mean any disrespect. We probably just have missed it or not across it. So make sure, reach us DMs, DM Arush, John, get in the Discord, tag us so that we can see, and then we can bring what you're doing out in these episodes as well. So yeah, that's it. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.